Let's start with a question that might shake you to your core. What if everything you've been doing to manifest your desires is actually pushing them further away? What if the energy around you, within you, or even the thoughts you hold sacred are the very barriers preventing you from achieving what you truly want? This isn't something we usually think about when we dive into the world of manifestation. We focus on affirmations, visualizations, and positive thinking. But what if I told you that the real work, the deep work, lies not in adding more practices to your spiritual toolbox, but in understanding what's silently sabotaging your progress? You see, manifestation is not just about thinking positive thoughts or visualizing your dream life. It's about alignment. It's about harmony between your energy, your intention, and the universal flow. But here's the catch: toxic spiritual energy can creep into your life like a quiet thief in the night. It's subtle. It disguises itself as wisdom, or sometimes even as progress. And without realizing it, you might be feeding the very energy that's destroying your manifestation power. Let's break this down together. Toxic spiritual energy can come from many sources. It can be external, like the people you surround yourself with or the environments you immerse yourself in, but more often it's internal. It's the unhealed wounds, the limiting beliefs, and the subconscious patterns that we carry. It's the fear we mask as faith. It's the doubt we bury underneath a surface of positivity. Have you ever felt like you're saying all the right affirmations, doing all the right meditations, but there's this invisible wall between you and your desires? That's not a failure on your part. That's a sign that something deeper is at play.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lesson.
Here's where it gets tricky. Toxic spiritual energy doesn't always appear as something negative. Sometimes it looks like ego disguised as enlightenment. It's when we start to believe that we're more spiritual than others because we meditate longer, or because we've read all the right books. It's when we use spirituality as a weapon to judge others or even to judge ourselves. Have you ever caught yourself thinking, if only I was more positive, this wouldn't have happened to me? That's toxic energy at work. It's the idea that you must constantly strive, constantly fix yourself, constantly prove your worthiness to the universe. But manifestation doesn't work like that. The universe doesn't respond to your struggle, it responds to your state of being. And when your state of being is clouded by toxic spiritual energy, no matter how hard you try, you'll find yourself in a cycle of frustration and stagnation. So, how do we begin to untangle this? How do we identify the signs that toxic energy is sabotaging our manifestation power? Let's start with one of the most common signs: resistance. Resistance can show up in many forms. It can feel like procrastination, like you know what you need to do to move closer to your goals, but you just can't bring yourself to take action. Or it can feel like self-sabotage, where every time you get close to a breakthrough, something happens to pull you back. Resistance is often a sign that there's something within you that feels unsafe about receiving what you're trying to manifest. Maybe it's a fear of failure, or even a fear of success. Maybe it's a belief that you're not deserving or not capable. Whatever it is, resistance is a clue that there's a deeper layer that needs your attention. Another sign is emotional chaos. If you're constantly feeling overwhelmed, anxious, or doubtful about your manifestation journey, that's a clear indicator that toxic energy is in play. Emotions are powerful indicators of your energetic state. When you're aligned with your desires, you feel a sense of ease, flow, and trust. But when your energy is clogged with doubt, fear, or unhealed trauma, your emotions will reflect that. Have you ever noticed how your emotions can spiral out of control when you're obsessing over whether your manifestation is working? That obsession, that need to control the outcome is toxic energy. It's a lack of trust in the process. And then there's comparison. This is a sneaky one. In the age of social media, it's so easy to fall into the trap of comparing your spiritual journey to someone else's. You see someone who seems to have it all figured out, and you start questioning yourself, why can't I manifest like they do? What am I doing wrong? But here's the truth: comparison is a poison to your manifestation power. It shifts your focus away from your own unique journey and places it on someone else's path. And when you're not focused on your own energy, how can you expect to align with your desires? Let me ask you this: when was the last time you truly sat with yourself, without judgment, without trying to fix or change anything, and just observed your energy? This is where the real work begins. Before you can clear toxic energy, you have to become aware of it. You have to be willing to look at the parts of yourself that you've been avoiding, the parts that feel unworthy or scared or angry. These parts aren't your enemies. They're not here to sabotage you. They're here to show you where healing is needed. One practical step you can take is to create space for stillness. In our busy lives, it's so easy to get caught up in the next thing, the next goal, the next goal, the next manifestation. But stillness is where clarity lives. When you sit in stillness, you give yourself the opportunity to hear the whispers of your soul. You can start to recognize the patterns of toxic energy that have been running your life. Maybe you notice a critical voice in your head that's always telling you you're not doing enough. Maybe you recognize a fear that keeps you from fully committing to your desires. Whatever it is, stillness will bring it to the surface. And when it does, don't run from it. Don't judge it. Don't try to push it away. Instead, meet it with compassion. This is where the healing begins. Toxic energy loses its power when it's met with love and understanding. When you can look at the parts of yourself that feel unworthy and say, I see you, I hear you, and I love you anyway, you begin to dissolve the blocks that have been holding you back. But that's just the first step. Once you've identified the toxic energy, how do you transform it? How do you turn it into a source of power and alignment? That's what we'll dive into next. Let's go deeper now. If you've been sensing that something within you or around you is holding you back, you're not imagining it. Toxic spiritual energy often hides behind the masks of ego and fear, operating so subtly that we don't even realize they're running the show. But here's the thing: ego and fear are not inherently bad. They're survival mechanisms designed to protect us. The problem is, they're often misguided. They cling to old beliefs and outdated patterns because they don't understand that growth requires trust, surrender, and letting go. Now, let me ask you this: what are you still holding onto that no longer serves you? Maybe it's a belief that you're not good enough. Maybe it's a fear of failure or rejection. Or maybe it's the ego's need to control every single detail of how your manifestation should unfold. Whatever it is, these traps are like invisible chains, binding you to a version of yourself that's out of alignment with your desires. Let's break this down, starting with the ego. The ego is not your enemy, it's simply the part of you that identifies with the material world, with survival, with separation. It's the voice in your head that says, I have to prove myself, I have to achieve this to be worthy, I have to control this outcome, or everything will fall apart. The ego thrives on comparison, judgment, and attachment. And here's the tricky part: it can disguise itself as spiritual wisdom. Have you ever found yourself thinking, I've done all the work, so why isn't this happening for me? Or I must not be as spiritually advanced as I thought if I can't manifest this. That's the ego talking. It's turning your spiritual practice into a race, a competition, a measure of your worth. When you let the ego drive your manifestation journey, you're not actually creating from a place of alignment, you're creating from a place of lack. The ego is focused on what you don't have, on what's missing, on proving something to yourself or others. But manifestation doesn't respond to lack. It responds to abundance, to trust, to the knowing that you are already whole, already worthy, already enough. So the first step to breaking free from the ego's trap is awareness. Ask yourself, am I trying to manifest this because it aligns with my soul's truth, or because my ego thinks I need it to feel validated? Now, let's talk about fear. Fear is one of the most powerful forces that can block your manifestation power. It can show up in obvious ways like the fear of failure, the fear of rejection, or the fear of being judged. But it can also show up in more subtle ways like the fear of success. Yes, you heard that right. Sometimes we're afraid of actually receiving what we desire because it comes with change, responsibility, or a new version of ourselves that feels unfamiliar. Fear whispers in your ear, what if I'm not ready? What if I mess it up? What if I lose it once I have it? Here's the paradox of fear: the more you resist it, the stronger it becomes. Fear feeds on avoidance and denial. The more you try to push it away, the more power it has over you. So, the key to transforming fear is not to fight it, but to face it with courage and compassion. When fear arises, instead of running from it, ask yourself, what is this fear trying to teach me? What part of me feels unsafe, and how can I create safety within myself? Remember, fear isn't here to punish you. It's here to guide you, to show you where healing is needed, to help you grow into the version of yourself that is ready to receive your desires. One of the most practical ways to work with fear is through self-awareness and grounding practices. When fear arises, instead of letting it spiral out of control, take a moment to pause, breathe deeply, feel your feet on the ground. Remind yourself that you are safe in this moment. Then, name the fear. Say it out loud if you need to. I'm afraid that I'm not good enough. I'm afraid that I'll fail. I'm afraid of being seen. When you name your fear, you take away its power. You bring it out of the shadows and into the light. Another powerful practice is to reframe your relationship with fear. Instead of seeing it as a block, see it as an invitation. Fear is a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone, that you're moving toward growth. It's like a compass, pointing you toward the areas where you need to strengthen your trust in yourself and the universe. So the next time fear arises, instead of resisting it, try saying, thank you for showing me where I need to grow. I choose to move forward anyway. And then there's surrender. This is where most of us struggle, isn't it? The ego wants control and fear wants certainty. But manifestation requires surrender. It requires you to trust the process, even when you can't see the full picture. It requires you to let go of the how and the when, and to focus instead on the what and the why. What do you truly desire, and why does it matter to you? When you're clear on those two things, you can release the need to micromanage the details and trust that the universe is working behind the scenes on your behalf. Here's a question to reflect on: what would it feel like to fully trust the universe, to believe with every fiber of your being that what you desire is already on its way? Can you feel the weight lifting off your shoulders? That's the power of surrender. It's not about giving up, it's about making space for miracles to unfold. But of course, surrender doesn't mean sitting back and doing nothing. It means taking aligned action from a place of trust and flow, rather than from a place of fear and control. So, as you move forward, ask yourself, are my actions aligned with my highest truth, or are they coming from a place of fear or ego? This simple question can transform the way you approach your manifestation journey. Now that we've explored the traps of ego and fear, it's time to go even deeper. We need to look at the external influences that might be contributing to toxic spiritual energy and how to cleanse and protect your energy so you can reclaim your power. Now that we've uncovered how ego and fear can quietly sabotage your inner alignment, let's look outward. Toxic spiritual energy isn't just something you carry within, it can also come from the people, environments, and influences around you. Your energetic field, your aura, is like a magnet. It absorbs and interacts with the energy surrounding you, whether you're aware of it or not. If you're not intentional about cleansing and protecting your energy, toxic vibrations from external sources can seep in, dulling your radiance and blocking your manifestation power. Take a moment to reflect on this question: what or who might be draining your energy right now? Is there someone in your life who constantly brings negativity into your space? Are you spending time in environments that feel heavy, chaotic, or misaligned with your values? Or perhaps you're consuming content, whether on social media, the news, or entertainment, that leaves you feeling anxious, angry, or uninspired. These are all signs that your energetic field might be picking up toxic vibrations that are interfering with your ability to manifest. Let's start with the most important external influence: the people in your life. Relationships are one of the most powerful energetic exchanges we experience as humans. When you spend time with someone, your energy fields interact and influence each other. This is why being around certain people can leave you feeling uplifted and inspired, while others can leave you feeling drained, anxious, or even resentful. Toxic energy from others doesn't always come in obvious forms like criticism or conflict. Sometimes it's much more subtle. It might be someone who constantly complains, gossips, or operates from a place of fear and lack. Their energy can slowly weigh you down, even if they don't mean to. But here's the thing: it's not about blaming others or cutting people out of your life impulsively. It's about creating boundaries. Boundaries are acts of self-love, and they're crucial for protecting your energetic field. Ask yourself, where in my life am I allowing others to overstep my boundaries? Where am I saying yes when I really want to say no? When you honor your boundaries, you send a clear message to yourself and the universe that your energy is sacred, that you value your well-being, and that you're committed to staying in alignment with your highest self. Now let's talk about your physical environment. The spaces you occupy, your home, your workplace, even the places you visit, carry energy. Think about the last time you walked into a room and immediately felt tension, even if no one said a word. That's the energy of the space speaking to you. A cluttered, chaotic, or energetically heavy environment can weigh on you in ways you might not even realize. On the other hand, a clean, intentional space can amplify your energy and help you stay aligned with your manifestations. Here's a simple but powerful practice: cleanse your space energetically. You can do this with tools like sage, Palo Santo, or incense, or even just by opening the windows and letting fresh air in. As you cleanse, set an intention. Say something like, I release any energy that is not mine or does not serve my highest good. I invite in peace, clarity, and love. You can also add elements to your space that uplift your vibration, like crystals, plants, or objects that hold personal meaning and inspiration. But external cleansing doesn't stop with people and spaces. It also includes what you consume. This includes the food you eat, the media you watch, and the energy you allow into your mind. Have you ever noticed how certain foods leave you feeling sluggish, while others make you feel energized and alive? Similarly, have you ever scrolled through social media and felt a sinking feeling of comparison or inadequacy? These are signs that what you're consuming is affecting your vibration. To cleanse your consumption, start by asking yourself, what am I feeding my mind, body, and soul? Be mindful of the content you engage with. Choose books, podcasts and videos that inspire growth and positivity. Limit your exposure to fear-based media, whether that's the news or social media accounts that leave you feeling drained. And when it comes to food, choose nourishment over convenience whenever possible. Simple shifts like drinking more water, eating whole foods, and practicing gratitude for your meals can have a profound impact on your energetic field. Of course, one of the most powerful ways to protect your energy is through regular grounding practices. Grounding reconnects you with the Earth's energy, helping you release anything you've absorbed that doesn't belong to you. One of the simplest ways to ground is to spend time in nature. Walk barefoot on the grass, sit under a tree, or simply breathe in fresh air. Visualize any toxic or stagnant energy leaving your body and being transmuted by the Earth. Replace it with feelings of calm, stability, and balance. Finally, let's talk about the importance of gratitude and intention in maintaining a clear energetic field. Gratitude is one of the highest vibrational states you can embody. When you focus on what you're grateful for, you naturally attract more of what aligns with that energy. Intention, on the other hand, is your ultimate tool for directing your energy. Before you interact with people, enter a space, or consume anything, set an intention. For example, you might say, I intend to stay grounded and centered no matter what energy I encounter today. These small but powerful actions create an energetic shield around you, preventing toxic vibrations from taking root. So, let me ask you again, what are you allowing into your life that no longer serves you? The more intentional you become about cleansing and protecting your energy, the more aligned you'll be with your manifestation power. Toxic spiritual energy doesn't stand a chance when you're rooted in clarity, gratitude, and high vibrational practices. But there's still one more piece to the puzzle. To truly rebuild your manifestation power, we need to talk about the ultimate key: reclaiming your inner sovereignty. We've explored the internal blocks of ego and fear, uncovered how external toxins drain your energy, and learned how to cleanse and protect your spiritual space. But now, it's time to focus on the most powerful aspect of your manifestation journey: reclaiming your inner sovereignty. Inner sovereignty is the recognition that you and only you are the creator of your reality. It's about stepping into your full power, owning your energy, and refusing to give it away to anything or anyone that doesn't serve your highest good. Let me ask you something profound. Do you truly believe in your power to create the life you desire? Or are you still waiting for permission from the universe, from others, or even from an idealized version of yourself that you think you need to become? Manifestation doesn't begin out there, it begins within. It begins the moment you decide to take radical responsibility for your energy, your choices, and your alignment. This is what it means to reclaim your inner sovereignty. But how do you do this? How do you move from feeling stuck, overwhelmed, or powerless into a state of inner mastery? The answer lies in three key practices: self-awareness, self-trust, and self-empowerment. Let's start with self-awareness. You cannot reclaim your power if you don't first understand where and how you're giving it away. Think about this: where in your life are you outsourcing your power? Maybe it's to the opinions of others, relying on their validation to feel worthy. Maybe it's to external circumstances, believing that your happiness depends on things outside of your control. Or maybe it's to the belief that the universe will fix everything for you, without you having to take aligned action. These are all ways we unconsciously give away our sovereignty. To cultivate self-awareness, you must develop the habit of observing your thoughts, emotions, and behaviors without judgment. This is not about criticizing yourself for where you are. It's about becoming deeply curious about the patterns that run your life. For example, when something doesn't go as planned, do you immediately fall into a victim mindset, thinking, "Why does this always happen to me?" Or do you pause and ask yourself, "What is this situation teaching me about my energy, my beliefs, or my actions?" Self-awareness is about stepping out of autopilot and becoming the conscious creator of your reality. Next, let's talk about self-trust. This is one of the most overlooked aspects of manifestation, yet it's absolutely essential. How can you expect the universe to trust you with your desires if you don't trust yourself? Self-trust means believing in your ability to handle whatever comes your way. It means honoring your intuition, even when it doesn't make logical sense. It means committing to your path, even when doubt creeps in. But here's the truth: self-trust isn't something you magically wake up with one day. It's something you build moment by moment through consistent action. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, every time you follow through on your intentions, every time you choose to honor your needs, you strengthen your self-trust. So ask yourself, what small actions can I take today to show myself that I can be trusted? It could be as simple as setting aside 5 minutes to meditate, journaling your intentions, or choosing to say no to something that drains your energy. These small acts of self-trust create a ripple effect, building your confidence and reinforcing your sovereignty. Finally, we come to self-empowerment. To reclaim your manifestation power, you must stop waiting for external circumstances to change and start taking ownership of your energy and actions. This doesn't mean forcing or controlling outcomes. It means recognizing that your energy is the most powerful tool you have. When you align your thoughts, emotions, and actions with the frequency of your desires, you become unstoppable. As you reclaim your inner sovereignty, you'll notice a profound shift in your energy. You'll stop seeking validation from external sources. You'll stop chasing your desires and start attracting them effortlessly. You'll stop doubting your worthiness and start embodying it. This is the power of living in alignment with your truth. Your manifestation power has always been within you. It's time to reclaim it, protect it, and use it to create a life that feels aligned with your soul's deepest truth. No more allowing toxic energy, whether internal or external, to dim your light. This is your moment to rise, to shine, and to become the creator of your reality. The question now is, are you ready to step into your sovereignty and claim the life you've always dreamed of?